In a world far, far away, there lives a species of intelligent, powerful, and savage creatures. Creatures called the Meepus. Their world is much like ours, but that's about to change.
Let's go.
Aliens, also called extraterrestrial life, are just any form of life that exists outside of our planet. With their weird, gross aliens that for some reason people find hot. I think they're disgusting. They look like blobfishes and like weird slime I made in elementary school out of the stuff in my shower. Aliens are thought to be seen all throughout history. I'm sure you guys have heard the rumors about the pyramids in Egypt being built by aliens, the Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Easter Island, a bunch of other weird places I don't even want to try to pronounce. They think, yeah, there's no way slave labor could have made that. It's gotta be that thing. In modern media, on like Instagram Reels and TikToks, I've seen people who think they're alien star seeds and claim they're from space or something. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. You can't talk about aliens without talking about Area 51, a place rumored to have aliens in there that the government is hiding from us. They like them, they want them as little pets. The government claims this area is for Air Force stuff and like airplanes, but nuh-uh. Area 51 is also called Homey Airport, Groom Lake, Dreamland, and Paradise Ranch. So they have many names to go by, that's oddly sus. One of my favorite things that's happened regarding Area 51 was the raids that happened back in 2019. It started as a joke on Facebook, but like millions of people got interested in it, but only 150 showed up. The raid took place at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., so that kind of explains why. Surprisingly enough, 2 dudes were successful in getting into the base itself. They were caught 3 miles from the border. The dudes were 2 Dutch YouTubers who decided last minute to just go to the raid because their plane was leaving later. They understood English and saw the no trespassing signs, but just ignored them and went in anyways. They were sentenced to a year in jail, but they paid fines and were able to get out within 3 days and go back to the good old Netherlands. Area 51 first gained popularity from the Majestic 12 hoax and the Roswell incident. This dude, Timothy Good, last name like that, claimed he saw an alien spacecraft crash in Roswell, New Mexico in July 1947. He came out in 87 though, claiming he had a government document on a 35mm film tape. This is how you know conspiracy theories are old, because the evidence is on film tape. Before I go any further on this, I have to be honest, put on my tinfoil hat. I believe aliens are real, okay? It's not that hard to make a life on other planets, you just need water and like a good atmosphere. One of the main things you need for life to sustain on Earth is for the planet to be in the habitable zone around its star. I looked it up through NASA and they said there's about 2 trillion galaxies that we know of, and there's a 10% chance any of those galaxies have a sun-like star or in the habitable zone like us. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 20 billion solar systems, okay? There's gotta be one with some other freaks on there. There are many theories as to why we haven't seen aliens yet that aren't just, oh, the government's hiding them. The most popular one is the Fermi paradox, where they think the universe is so vast and massive that the chance of us even finding life, if it's out there, is so low, and any signals we send out might not be powerful enough to reach other planets. The Great Filter is another idea that life just can't be as smart as we are, and it's going to be impossible for them to actually find the signals we send out and be able to decode them. The Rare Earth hypothesis states that the conditions to make intelligent life like us is just so hard to come by that we're probably the only ones out there smart enough to reach out and communicate. Earth Zoo is one of my favorites. This one's funny. It's the idea that aliens found us but don't want to talk with us, so they just kind of put a little cage around us and are like, ew, look at that bitch. Like the Metallica song is another theory that believes that there's planets that have life and are just full of water, a big ocean, but they're trapped under thick ice, so we're not able to see them through the ice and they're not able to reach out and communicate. There's other theories that suggest alien life just already evolved to like the highest point and it just died, so there's nothing for us to look for. The most reasonable explanation is that we just haven't looked hard enough. They did a study on like 137 people where they hid a little picture of a dude in a gorilla suit on these big pictures of just places on different planets, and had people look at each of these pictures to try and find any evidence of life, and only 30% were able to find the actual gorilla man. One of the most interesting things about the conspiracy theory on aliens is that some people believe they were actually abducted by them. Most of these stories are just people going, oh, they took my organs. Oh, I saw a big bright light and then I can't remember anything after that. I swear I just saw a big UFO and then my clothes came off. Of course, with all these stories, they say, oh, I can't remember anything. The aliens must have wiped my memory. They say that to cover their ass, okay? You're lying! The first popular story about aliens abductions was back in 1961, with Barney and Betty Hill. They said a UFO hovered over their car, and then they fell into a daze, and then while they were driving back the next day, they felt weird and had odd sensations. And then when Barney and Betty tried to make sense of what happened last night, they heard a buzzing noise, and suddenly all the events that just occurred were wiped from their memory. Yeah. Before this happened with Barney and Betty Hill, there were a few other stories about alien abductions, and they're called paleo abductions. It's basically stories that just weren't popular enough to get the attention like Barney and Betty did. One of the weirdest stories from this time was from a farmer named Antonio Villas-Boas. This story is weird, I'm gonna warn you. I don't know why he would make this public. Like, this is the only thing he's known for. So basically, it starts off with Antonio being at his farm at night, and a big UFO comes over him from the distance and takes him up and captures him. And you know what they do? They take his clothes off, put him in a weird gel, and then made him breathe some type of gas that made him violently ill. Of course, this all sounds crazy and make-believe, but that's not even the weirdest part. He said a sexy female alien came near him, was completely naked, and then they had sex. This owner faked alien sex. I'm not making this up, okay? Go look, it's a real story. In order to make his story more believable, he described the pubic hair of this alien as bright red. The rest of the story's boring, but like, dude, why would you say that? It just sounds like you took LSD at a club and got freaky. Like, I get if you just want to make up an alien abduction story for attention, just draw a little star on your stomach and say they took your liver. Don't make like a whole fan fiction story about you and this alien. I'm surprised he didn't talk about like how many nipples she had or something. Just the hair. Moving on from that Alien X Reader fan fiction thing, whatever I just read. Let's talk about the Pentagon releasing UFO videos. Instead, please, anything else. So back in 2023, Pentagon released videos of what they called unidentified flying objects, so UFOs, where they released a bunch of different videos of flying aircraft that they didn't know who was in charge of. So it was either World War III or aliens. I want it to be aliens. During this hearing, there were actually a lot of testimonials from people who are in the Pentagon or people who have been flying and have actually seen these UFOs. There was a video captured back in 2004 that was about a UFO that was a tic-tac shaped object and flying around in ways unheard of. The craziest part about this tic-tac shaped UFO is that it was observed on Navy sensor systems, and there's actual footage of this little tic-tac floating around in the sky, breaking physics. Keep in mind, it wasn't just one dude seeing this little tic-tac thing. There was 4 jets that were locked in on this thing and were trying to find it because this little bean was out flying all of them and moving faster than we ever knew possible. Even with all this evidence and all the videos of UFOs and aliens and the stories, there's still some people that don't believe aliens are real. You are fools. There's little green dudes out there, and they're coming for you and your organs. It's not a gang, it's not the mafia. Aliens want your organs. Give them